As you know, that the eviction moratorium was just extended to June. I believe I've told you about this. Many other YouTube channels have told you that they're just trying to kick the can down the road. It is just absolutely unacceptable, very unfair to people that are paying their rent, and then other people who are just living off the dime. Look at me, I have to pay the rent for this apartment. I have to work all these hours. Some people can get unemployment. It's just absolutely harsh. And it's just incentivizing people just to be lazy with all this unemployment. Everything is just being extended. And what's the point of even having a market? You might as well just turn every housing area into public projects. And the landlords, some of them who are mom and pop, they're not all corporate, they're losing out. They depend on this income just to get around. This is just absolutely unacceptable. And what about all the maintenance, the taxes they have to pay? A lot of local governments are going to be losing. Some landlords, they offer utilities. They're threatening to shut them down. How are we going to continue this, ranking up this national debt? You know, what's going to happen? Our debt's going to be $50 trillion. We might as well have a debt to GDP ratio of 200-300%. This can't go on forever. It's unbelievable. And the thing is that this might as well make a lot of these mom and pop landlords bankrupt. You hear this from both sides, left and right. And when that happens, you're going to see a lot of these Wall Street institutions buying up these properties. Now, I don't know if you know about this, but if you go on the old side of towns, you'll see duplexes, fourplexes, individual apartment buildings. If you go to the new part, especially in places like Las Vegas, you'll see like 30 different apartment buildings that are owned by wealthy people. But those mom and pop landlords that are able to offer you housing more affordable, they could be bought out. That is a significant concern. So what exactly is that we can do? Now, how long can they continue this? How long can they perpetuate this? Could we see this in 22, 23? We could see banks failing pretty much, because a lot of people who are getting loans from these banks, these landlords are paying essentially the banks because they bought the land, they built the structure, they have to pay back the loan. This could cause a lot of banks to fail. Probably another Bear Stearns or Lehman Brothers moment. But a lot of these people don't get it because they have to just say nice things and do these things just to get votes, just to calm the people. And it also doesn't solve the underlying problem, which is one of the reasons why you're seeing these rent freezes, because the rent is damn too high. Why aren't they addressing this? This complex that I live in, they just raised the rent again. You would think that in the Las Vegas Valley, you've got like, what, 300,000 people that recently got employed, 500,000 that are due for eviction. You think that they would be lowering the rent? They're not. That's the sad part. You're seeing rents go up like 3, 4, 5% a year. That's faster than wages. This is a pretty depressing situation. So why don't we work with a plan to reduce rents, where rents that are $1,000 could be rented out at $500 a month, and it wouldn't be such a burden. But they don't want to do that, folks. They want to keep prices elevated. Inflation is the main problem with our economy. A lot of people can argue. And both parties are not really talking about it. And by the way, if a lot of people are being evicted, you got like 500,000 people, at least here in the Las Vegas Valley, disproportionately affected by casinos, and pretty soon it's going to affect the construction and real estate sector, and that's going to cause another economic tsunami domino effect. Why don't we provide some temporary housing? We're spending billions of dollars in corporate tax subsidies, foreign aid, military intervention. A lot of the stimulus money didn't go to the people. Why don't we just build some emergency housing? Shipping containers, whatever. Oh, no, wait. We have to help and serve all these migrants that are coming across the border. They're housing them 5 hours south in the San Diego Convention Center. I probably should go there very soon. I have family down there. I want to go there and check it out. I have the right to see what's going on. This is a federal issue that affects the the American people, and it's on public property. But meanwhile, they can't help people like us. Other people have to pay for it. And by the way, in case if you haven't noticed, when people don't pay rent, that affects the tax base. And in case if you haven't understood, a lot of the tax base indirectly goes to illegals here in Clark County. Because we pay for the roads, public safety, schools, a lot of other things. You got like, what, 25% of the students in the Clark County Unified School Districts that has a parent who's here illegally? Probably more when you factor in non-citizens. And then they elect their own people and their own tribe, and they create their own political agendas to put their own race agenda and their own type of people in the public schools. It's really disgusting, man. I'm sick of it. Man, forget it. I probably won't want to pay to live here. It's all a lot of corruption. Maybe I can just move with my family in Southern California, or just get out and go to some small town, or maybe get the hell out of the country. I can cash out of the stock market and live like a king in maybe Philippines, Thailand, Peru, Costa Rica. Seriously. I know English, I know Spanish, I know Persian. It's good to have a lot of skills, believe it or not. And speaking of all these evictions, they're playing the race card. Oh my gosh, all these people are going to be evicted. It's going to hurt the people of color. Yeah, I thought the governors who were supposed to help people of color were the ones who were enforcing these shutdowns disproportionately. Is it happening in South Dakota? No. Is it happening in Georgia? Not so much. And this is the really sad, disgusting part about all this, is that if they're telling us if our economy is so good, if we have 6%, 5% unemployment rate, if we're recovering, then why the hell do we need to extend these moratoriums? Why didn't we do this back in 2009 or in 1935? Why is it all of a sudden we're doing this? Because it sucks. It's not doing well. You have many applicants per job, per low-wage employment. Thank God I have skills. They have to admit that this is such a freak show. And by the way, speaking of freak show, there's an immigration-related bill happening right now in the state legislature. It's called SB, I believe, 300 or 330. It's happening right now. If you go on Nellis, the hearing is happening right now by Senator Mo Dennis. I spoke to him on the phone. I've met him many times. We've debated about immigration, and we don't know what's in this bill. It could be a sanctuary state bill. Maybe they're trying to cover up for illegals because they're knowing the fact, and they're trying to change our election laws, that they want to keep the voter base going along because the casinos are not doing as well, and they're not having the Culinary Union mobilizing and the casino donors to keep the system afloat. So right now, go to the Nevada legislative hearing. I'm going to be calling in. You can hear me about what's happening with immigration. Immigration is a federal issue. It is not a statewide issue. It's disgusting how they're pandering to illegals. But the thing is, when they're bombing other countries, when they're bailing out Wall Street, when they are becoming these globalist shills, well, who the hell is going to support them? They brainwash you, they can cheat the election, or they'll import people who will vote in their own ways. That's why they're doing it. And that's why I tell them the best solution is to break up and have freedom of association. We don't want to have to deal with these rats. What are these migrants? What are these people giving us anyway? You tell me. All right, please take a look at the live feed. I got to get going. See you guys. Have fun.